It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, today I want to talk about A4 and geopolitics. The good news is that our entire channel has now accepted the fact that A4 is prevalent in the marketplace. Our whole channel has now accepted the fact that A3s will not be near as relevant as they once were. Everybody gets it. Those that don't probably don't watch the end of the day with Ray anyway, so I don't really care. But a lot of us get it. But we have to start looking into the marketplace and deciding who are we going to get our A4s from? And how are geopolitics going to play a role in A4 delivery in the future? And ladies and gentlemen, I put this slide here together and we need to think about this. And I want to talk about two players. We got HP over there. We know HP owns A4, right? They're all over the place. We know they bought the Samsung line and they think it's about the A3 and they're going to go disrupt that. But at the end of the day, HP is in a really good position to wipe out a lot of A3s with A4. If they could figure out how to sell that customer. Because that's always belonged to the folks in the document imaging channel, if you will, the OEG group, Office Equipment Group, right? HP struggles at getting inside that group. There's rumors now that HP and Xerox are going to get together again. This time HP is going to be in charge. I'm going to talk about that in a whole separate video because I have my own spin on how that might work. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we've got our friends over there at Lexmark that are owned by 9-Star and PAG. And we have HP. The only other player that we really have selling A4 is Kyocera. And if you think about this, the geopolitical atmosphere is going to change drastically. And how is that going to affect A4 placements globally? Because, folks, I think it's going to affect it. This deal with Lexmark, let me just go, I'm going to pull up the slide right here. Lexmark announced the acquisition by Apex Technology and PAG Asia Capital back in 2016. PAG has a 49% ownership in there with Legend, if you will. And that's like in its 6th year. Remember a while back I did that video and I talked about the mega dealers that have private equity like our friends over at Marco that are in their 7th year? Well, this PAG 9-Star deal is almost 6.5 years old. And so the question you got to ask yourself is, when's it going to end and who's going to take it out? These things got to end. 9-Star's in it for the long haul. They're the printer manufacturer, right? PAG's an investment company. What happens to their 49%? What happens to the 49%? Where does that go? Folks, I believe it's going to go back to 9-Star. And 9-Star will own Lexmark 100%. I really believe that to be the case. 9-Star had a deal with Platinum Printers. They took them out. They own them 100%. It's not unlikely that they'll do the same with our friends at Lexmark. Geopolitics will play a big role moving forward. We already see chip plants being built in Europe. And, you know, we're talking about putting some here in the United States. So ladies and gentlemen, the world is going to get less dependent on non-NATO members or non-friendly NATO members. If you don't think this is reality, it is. It's tough to talk about. We all have friends. You know, Lexmark was a big part of the A4 revolution and the end of the day with Ray. A big part of it. But ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is the world's changing. The bottom line is the world's going to realign how it does business globally. These are facts. It will happen. And so I think as we all get excited, because boy, we are getting excited about A4. This just gets me so excited when I think about this stuff, folks, because we got ENX Magazine interviewing dealers now, talking about A4 and how great A4 is, and we got to have an A4 strategy. I mean, this is so exciting, right? I mean, do you remember when I talked about A4 like 3 years ago, how negative that was? How negative that was. I love it when people say, Ray, you're so negative. You're damn right I'm negative against status quo. I hate it. I think they want me to put a cushion statement on everything I say. I realize I'm going to start talking about A4. I know how important A3 is to your business. Please understand that I understand that you're overspeccing and overselling for so many good reasons for you. Even though none of those reasons affect the customer, I realize that it's important for you. You see, I don't do that kind of crap. Why would I waste time, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, what I get excited about is when I start seeing the momentum. Keep in mind, That momentum usually doesn't follow me for a couple of years, okay? So you got to put up with the negativity, as they say. But eventually, it just becomes common practice, right? I got to remind everybody of this. If you go to my website, endofthedayWithRay.com, and you go to my library, it is full of negativity. Oh my God, there is so much negativity written in articles and in videos. You can find all kinds of negativity, folks. I got a whole section on the A4 revolution. Those first videos and those first articles, oh, how negative that was. So, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly suggest you go read this. I got articles on leasing. I started that leasing revolution like 2 years ago, talking about leasing and how it's going to change and how the practices today are terrible and some are good and some are bad. And get over it and figure out a way that you're going to come into the market with a new strategy. It's always been my message. But folks, at the end of the day, it's full of negativity. You could find more negative stuff on my website than you could shake a stick at. I'm telling you right now. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to pay attention to our friends over at HP. I recently I was watching an interview, and it was a Fridays with Frank with Ed McLaughlin. And Ed was talking about how HP wouldn't even know how to go direct. They would never go direct. And, folks, I beat up that video enough because, I think that EKM and the product that Ed uses to back his predictive insights is owned by Tech Data. I think there's some issues with that. But at the end of the day, I don't know where Ed gets that thinking because they are direct already in the UK. They bought a company called Apogee. And I know a lot of these folks, they like to say it's a wholly owned company, just like they talk about EKM. Oh, Tech Data, they're just like an investor. I mean, we're a wholly owned company. We can do whatever the hell we want. No, you can't. The wholly owned company tells you exactly what to do, and they can dump you if they want, right? They have the control. They have the power. Just like our friends over at Nine Star, okay? Folks, whoever has the ownership has the power. The other people, they just work there, okay? So HP, in fact, has a huge direct operation called Apogee in Europe. I want you to go back now to the conversation I talked about a little second ago about HP and Xerox coming together. I guess if HP bought Xerox, they'd be direct, wouldn't they? I guess if HB went out there and they bought our friends at Marco, or our friends down there at Dex, they'd be direct, right? Never say never, okay? Because the bottom line is, they already are direct. And this EKM product, owned by Tech Data, who's so in bed with HP, would only be in bed with them even more if they came here and bought Xerox, right? Some things to think about, my friends, because it's all about A4. Everything's about A4 for the Document Imaging Channel. I want to go back to this article. These folks didn't articulate it quite like I would. But every single thing in our industry is about A4. It's about the overspec and overselling of A3 going away. It's about 5-year leases that are prematurely upgraded going away. It's about dealers selling A4 products in ways that were unimaginable just a few short years ago, like through e-commerce platforms. It's about other competitors coming into the marketplace because the volumes are so much lower than they ever were before, and it'll allow these competitors to take away your great relationship. It's about the ability to sell A4 products, to vendor-managed products for other dealers as you sell IT services. The whole entire industry, 100% of it, the OEG group, is 100% about A4. I get so excited when the marketplace finally agrees with me. Some things to think about, my friends. Have a great weekend, and we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all on Monday.